Sarahy, can you just explain to us your recent transition to a new ERP system, and also just let us know a little bit about your company?
Yeah, we are Iron Container LLC. We're manufacturers of metal waste containers and compactors. We're located in Miami, Florida, but we also have a manufacturing facility in Eastleigh, South Carolina, and we service the entire East Coast of the United States, providing quality products and services to our customers. We're a leading manufacturing of these products.
Fantastic. When you transition over to a new ERP system, what key features or capabilities did you look for?
Sure. My journey here at Iron Container has been on an efficiencies approach. And we noticed that the previous ERP system was a very expensive one, without speaking about brands or names. And we felt that at the level of operations that we have, we could be better served with a more cost-effective tool. So number one, we went for cost. And we also look about the integration with other business platforms that we were using. We were also looking for the native capabilities of the system that we were looking into, and specifically because it reduces the number of customizations that you need to make to this software, and that reduces any impact or interference with any future automated software updates. Nowadays, everybody is in the cloud, and we just want to make sure that the system that you have can be supported by this new enhancement without having to remap any customizations that you may have done on your implementation. Of employee retention, one of the key features that we look into is that the interface for this software has to be user-friendly. Newer generation of workers are more used on clicking, and something that it is more intuitive to what they're seeing online and on web services. And we want to replicate that experience when they're working on a software for financial and manufacturing purposes.
Absolutely. What integration with other systems or platforms did you also consider necessary?
Well, essential for us was integration with all the other Microsoft Office products. We're constantly analyzing data, and we need to be able to download and upload from Excel and other Office products. We also look into engaging our customers in a more direct way via a very supportive CRM platform from where we can service them, and also a good reporting platform for data analysis. Those are key features because we need to make sure that we can audit and research our history to detect trends, to make sure that everything is going the way it's supposed to, that we have fully costed bill of materials with labor routings, especially for manufacturing, material resource planning. Those are key information and functionality that we need in a software to operate.
Fantastic. I'm sure you also use some experts in this field in ERP systems. What qualities and expertise did you look for?
The first thing that we looked for was that the platform that we were going to use, that the service company that was going to do the implementation for us was a separate entity. Large companies that offer the service of implementation directly, when you're on the small end of a business, you tend to get lost in the sea of bigger customers. So you want to be special to that contractor that's going to help you through this process. So you must select somebody that is fully engaged with you, that is rooting for your success. So that's number one. It has to be a separate entity from the ERP manufacturer. We look at the years of experience with the selected platform, the number of employees with the tenure with the company, their maintenance and support capabilities, their established response time that is directly embedded into a contract that you can hold it accountable for, and that they must have an interactive portal with which we can communicate more efficiently to keep track of all of these requirements.
Fantastic. Also, a key component is the implementation and planning strategy. Who should be involved in this ERP implementation and the decision-making process for a company?
So it is a very dynamic process, and you will reach out to many people, but you also have to limit it because these type of projects tend to go over budget, and it is usually because of indecision It is usually because of too many requirements. So you just want to make it laser focus on who needs to be there. So number one will be your executive sponsor. That is the person that is going to root for you, to the owners, to the rest of the executive team, to make sure that you get approval for this project and for any disruption that it may cause to the business, because it will disrupt. You also need your subject matter experts. These are the people that are on a day-to-day basis dealing with the different areas of the business, whether it's purchasing, sales and marketing, your operation guys with manufacturing, material resource planning, and running everything that deals with the day-to-day operations of the company, and of course, accounting. You need to have a centralized project manager. That is the person that is going to be communicating with the consultants, and that cannot deviate from there, because this person is responsible for this budget. This person is responsible for the success of the project, and to make sure that happens, everything has to be centralized through a single. Of course, you need your IT department representative for any technical specifications that are needed from your current services, and your finance department, because everything at the end of the day gets integrated to finance for reporting purposes, and make sure that everything flows correctly.
Absolutely. Having a strategy and having the right people in place to execute is incredibly important. Can you walk us through your ERP planning process and also the timeline? How long did it take you to be up and running?
This was an exceptional project, what we had here at Iron Container, because we completed the implementation in 4 months. And I have never been to such an aggressive timeline, but it was to align it with the expiration of a contract that we didn't want to renew because of the cost that it entails. And go figure, if you give a project a year, it will take a year. If you give a project 4 months, 4 months it takes. So what we did was to sit down with the subject matter experts and identify what were the specific needs that we need for the ERP tool, and what are the gaps in our current system. And to be honest with you, in our prior system, we had excess capacity that we didn't need. And that's why we wanted to kind of like not downsize, but have something that could be more customizable to our current needs. We got the executive sponsor to champion the project. We determined the scope and the implementation, and very specifically, you have to manage the expectations, because with such an aggressive timeline of 4 months, you just need to be able to keep the business running in a new platform going forward. You can do all of the best bells and whistles later. What is essential to get you to that go live of 4 months? Once you have that clear expectation of what is it that you need, you go and shop around for these software. You have to sit down not only with the software manufacturers, but also with the consultants that are going to implement this product for you. And once you have that, you have to be very honest about what are the gaps between what the system is offering and what your processes are. And you need to make a decision right there, whether you change the system with modifications or you change your processes to fit the software that you're engaging with. And I am a big proponent of taking this opportunity to review all of your processes, because softwares are at the forefront of change, and they're receiving feedback from multiple industries, multiple other companies that are giving them their best case scenarios, their best practices. So they already have that, and you may benefit by being open to consider that there might be another way of doing this task, that it is more aligned with the system you're about to engage with, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and then not having a seamless integration of the software with your processes. Then you just have to prioritize configuration. And this is hard because your subject matter experts are busy doing day-to-day operations. So you need to make sure that to be on top of them, to give you the specs that they want in terms of tables, in terms of categories, in terms of relationship in the transactions, to make sure that everything that gets into the architecture of this software is exactly what you need. And we cannot say it enough. It's test every scenario that you can think of, because you not only you have to consider what you normally do, but try to remember those exceptions that gave you like the most headaches, and try to test how the system behaved that way. And while doing that, you need to document these processes. You need to build your scripts. If you don't have good scripts at the end of the product implementation, you're pretty much without tools to train all of the other users of the company. So be very specific in those tests and scripts to make sure that you can move forward and train others. And your go live is sacred. If you allow yourself to extend a deadline, it will continuously extend because business is dynamic and you will always have something that is more important. But you have to make sure that you hold yourself very accountable to that date to allow everybody to get excited. Every time that you delay it, people get deflated. So you just want to keep the momentum going for their benefit and also for the bottom line, because at the end of the day, that also strains the budget of a project. I was very happy with this implementation because not only did we do it in 4 months, but we were also $20,000 below the budget that we originally set up for this software implementation. And once you are in the go live stage, be quick to report any deficiencies, any of malfunctioning of the system, and graduate that to your maintenance transition, and keep good contact and relationship with your implementation team, because although they're not going to service you forever, you're going to be moving to a maintenance team. The implementation team were the ones who were with you making these decisions, and they know your system and your setups better than anybody else. And they're very friendly usually, so you can always go back, even if it's just a quick phone call. Hey, you remember this, you remember that, and they'll be very happy to help you. But you have to develop that relationship, keep it dynamic, keep it respectful, and you will make wonders with an implementation. It will be less of a hassle.
Fantastic. What a great explanation about your planning process and your timeline. I'm sure if there's one thing that you wish you have known or done differently with your ERP implementation or selection journey, what would it have been?
I think that if I was to choose something different, 4 months was very aggressive. I would have probably thought about extending that process and delaying it to another year. And I'm going to tell you why. Doing just the basics implementation allow us to do the 4-month goal and kept it on budget. But when you go live and people are expecting bells and whistles, they want to see bells and whistles. They want to be amazed by this new product, and they're just seeing the basic stuff because you said that you were going to implement the rest later as we move along. And if I was to do a do-over about this, I would take longer time, make sure all of those capabilities were in, so that when we go live, everything is enabled. At the end of the day, once you go live, everything, you will have the issues, you will still have to address the user needs, and that takes time away from you trying to implement these other subsequent stage processes. So a more comprehensive approach to implementation will have been better in our case, and get all of the enhancement from the first time.
Thank you for sharing. First of all, congratulations on a successful implementation and also below budget. Great job.
Thank you.